I received a lot of questions about briefs and can I get a copy of that brief? Yes, you can. It will be posted on the AFCEA website here by the end of next week at the latest. So just keep an eye on your email and on the AFCEA website, and we'll be sure to get that posted for you. Last thing on the right there, or on my right, your left, the competition. So you see the blue line is the University of North Georgia, and they have surged ahead into first place. However, the Citadel is in hot pursuit, and it looks like it's going to be a neck and neck race in the cyber competition. So we will finish the day with the award ceremony for one of these two teams. I'm excited to see what's going to happen here, but our senior military colleges are showing up and showing out. So well done to our competitors. And with that, I welcome you back to an action-packed afternoon, which will, like I said, culminate with the award ceremony for the workforce competition. So let's forge ahead. So our next guest speaker is going to be Miss Elizabeth Durham Ruiz, coming to us from Nebraska. She's the CIO of, somebody's clapping, that's wonderful, thank you. Coming all the way from Nebraska, she is the CIO and Director of C4 U.S. Strategic Command. She is responsible for assuring global integrated C4 capabilities in support of global strike, nuclear deterrence, missile defense, and cyberspace operations. Really big responsibility. She served 25 years on active duty in the Air Force in highly technical positions involving engineering, C4 architecture, cyberspace requirements. And after retiring as a colonel, she served in a variety of senior positions at U.S. Strategic Command and U.S. Transportation Command. After we roll her video, I'll ask her to join us on the stage. But first, her brief is going to be entitled The Combatant Command Perspective, Mission Critical Cyber Operator. Nate, would you roll the video, please? Very impressive. Please give a big cyber welcome to Miss Durham Ruiz. Thank you for being here, ma'am.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And thank you very much. First of all, thanks to everybody for coming back to our lunch. For any of you who have ever heard me speak before, I'm really big into audience participation. So please make sure you're on your game for audience participation. True story. Mr. Turnus knows that. All right. First of all, as I get started here, I wanted to take a minute really to thank you for the honor, for the opportunity to speak here to AFCEA, and also for the college here to be able to sponsor this as well. I think AFCEA International is a tremendous organization. For those of you who are considering joining and have not yet made that opportunity, you heard a little bit about my background. I've been around this kind of mission set for a couple of years, and I've always been a member of AFCEA and found it to be a great opportunity for partnership and developing those relationships. So I just a shameless plug for that. And it doesn't have to be AFCEA, but AFCEA is certainly, this is what they do, and they do it very well. So thank you very much for that and the opportunity to speak today. I'm going to be reading many of the remarks from a script. There are going to be time for questions and answers. So please keep your questions and answers coming. I would hate to get to questions and answers and have no questions, because then that's when audience participation comes in. So you saw that video up there, right? That's good. Audience participation, you're getting it. That's why we're here. We're not here to keep track of cyber work roles, although that's important. We're not here to count how many people we can get into cyber accepted service, although that's important too, and I'll talk a little bit about that. But we're here for those guys and gals on the screen. And we're here for those folks who have to be ready to fight tonight, and the systems absolutely positively have to work. And the adversary's out there each and every day. So if you put yourself in the position of making sure we're ready to fight tonight and being able to make sure that we're able to thwart the adversary 24/7, 365, that's what your warfighters are counting on you to deliver. So please make no mistake about it. This is important stuff. So back to the script. Okay, the theme of this summit is the Forge, which perfectly captures the work we are doing at U.S. Strategic Command. We are forging the future of our nation's cyber defense, one qualified operator at a time. And I can tell you from my perspective at U.S. Strategic Command that the work has never been more urgent, more consequential, or more critical to our national security. Today, I want to talk about the people who make our mission possible, the cyber operators who defend the systems that underpin our nation's most consequential military capabilities. These professionals are quiet warriors of cyberspace, and their work is essential to our national security. At U.S. Strategic Command, we operate at the tip of the spear, facing challenges that are both complex and consequential. Admiral Correll, our commander, has outlined a clear mission, vision, and set of imperatives that guide everything we do, and I want to start there because everything I'm going to share with you today flows directly from his guidance. First, our mission. If I go to the next there, okay, you got it. Mission. Mission is clear and unambiguous. U.S. STRATCOM conducts operations to deter strategic attack and employ forces as directed to guarantee the security of the nation and our allies. Now, if any of you have been in a command before, you realize that taking direction and being able to provide guidance to the forces, many times that's a decision of a combatant commander. At U.S. Strategic Command, we execute forces based upon direct orders from the president. So back to it absolutely has to work 24/7, 365. In the most urgent circumstances, we have to be able to have that guidance from the president. Our vision is equally clear. U.S. STRATCOM drives asymmetric warfighting advantage in a technology-enabled environment while delivering strategic options underpinned by decision quality data. So let me give you a couple of examples that Admiral Correll likes to talk about. He talks about the supply chain in one of the areas that's a very big concern for us. Supply chain. If you look at a chip, anybody know how many transistors are on a typical chip, computer chip? Any guess? How about 350 billion? 350 billion. Okay. What about how many miles of copper connecting wire on that chip? 30 miles, right? So you're talking about one chip in one system, and there are many, many systems that we depend on, the warfighters depend upon to make sure we can do our mission. Supply chain is a huge focus area for U.S. Strategic Command, as well as many other areas, but that's just to give you an example. So we're on slide 3. These are Admiral Correll's imperatives to direct deliberate actions that we must take to achieve his vision. First, we've got to be able to sustain the force, and we've got to be able to balance operational demands while ensuring the health and readiness of our people, military, civilians, and contractors alike. This is not just about keeping the lights on. It's about ensuring that every member of our team has what they need to execute the mission today while we prepare for tomorrow. We talk a lot about technical debt, right? We've got to make sure that we can continue to maintain some of the systems that we have, which are old, like others of you have, while we prepare for tomorrow. Secondly, operationalizing emerging technology. We must anticipate and apply emerging technologies such as AI, machine learning, quantum sensors, and communications across our portfolio and the joint force. We must leverage these tools to improve human decision-making and deliver asymmetric warfighting advantage, and we must do so while maintaining the core tenet that Admiral Correll has been absolutely clear about: human-in-the-loop decisions, especially regarding nuclear employment. Third, maximizing flexibility and effectiveness. We must transform our processes, plans, and procedures to develop context-relevant options in a shifting security environment. We must embrace a culture of innovation at every level. Fourth, driving strategic integration. We must lead efforts within the joint force to provide the president with strategic options that are timely, effective, and supported across combatant commands, all combatant commands. No combatant command will enter into a conflict, and we can see that right now with Midnight Hammer and the current Operation Epic Fury. There's not one combatant command that's doing it by themselves. Strategic Command and others are working together as a team, so we've got to go in and fight together as a joint force. And finally, transitioning to a modernized force. We must receive and operationalize modernized weapon systems, new capabilities, and associated infrastructure while adapting to novel technological threats. And every single one of these imperatives has a cyber dimension, every single one. Every single one of them depends upon the qualified cyber workforce that we're talking about today. So it's an imperative that I challenge each and every one of you to go back to your organizations and help us out with. Let's go to the next chart. So to understand the importance of the cyber operator, we've got to first understand the environment in which we are operating, the cyber AOR. Admiral Correll has been very clear about the challenge that the command faces is twofold. We must deter multiple nuclear competitors while simultaneously adapting to dramatic technological change. We're operating in a multipolar nuclear environment, one that is more complex and more dangerous than anything we have faced since the Cold War. At the same time, the character of war itself is changing at a pace that is frankly breathtaking. The battlefield is being reshaped by technological advancements across the domains: artificial intelligence, machine learning, quantum computing, big data, unmanned and autonomous systems, think drones. These are not future capabilities. They are present realities that our opponents are already leveraging, and they have the potential to catalyze, starting with unpredictable breakthroughs in warfighting. We have identified 5 emerging threat vectors that demand our immediate and sustained attention: cyber threats, counter U.S. space capabilities, counter electromagnetic spectrum operations, novel missile systems, and supply chain, as I mentioned before. Each of these have a cyber element. Each of them requires a qualified, skilled, and mission-ready operations for the cyber force. The 2026 National Defense Strategy is equally unambiguous. It directs the Department of War to prioritize cyber deterrence of U.S. military and certain civilian activities, and to deter and to develop options to degrade cyber threats to the U.S. homeland. So that is what we're doing going forward. Go to the next chart. I think we're maybe one off, but at any rate, can you go back one, please? Okay, U.S. Strategic Command, our cyber operators play pivotal role in operational readiness and resilience of our nation's most critical systems. They provide traditional operations, maintenance, and data and defense of command, control, communications, and computer systems, while identifying, analyzing, and advocating for resilient, threat-informed C4 and cyber capabilities. Their work integrates and synchronizes nuclear command, control, and communications, or NC3, cybersecurity, C4, IT, data, AI, and machine learning across the command, ensuring seamless functionality and strategic advantage. Our operators enable advanced capabilities such as cloud computing and AI integration, implement mobile command and control systems, and provide air room planning systems to support target operations. They also facilitate senior leader conferencing, ensuring decision makers have secure and reliable communications channels during critical moments. Through the Joint Electromagnetic Spectrum Operations, our cyber warriors, actively participate in Department of War electromagnetic spectrum attack planning, including interference against GPS signals and advancing the joint forces' ability to operate and prevail in a contested, congested, and constrained electromagnetic spectrum environment. Additionally, they play a key role in certification of emergency action messages as directed by the President. In short, our cyber operators are our asymmetric advantage. Let's go to the next chart and talk a little bit about our cyber workforce. This is a U.S. Stratcom cyber workforce, and this chart is a little bit difficult to read, but let me just give you some highlights. First of all, thanks to Mr. Gorak and our activities to work together 2 or 3 years ago, we are a cyber accepted service command. And we did implement both cyber accepted service and ACT demo at the same time. This is the cyber workforce that we are managing. Not all of these positions are cyber accepted service, but a majority of them, specifically within my organization, are cyber accepted service. So we do manage the cyber workforce as a cohesive capability for the command. You see up there, we've got 653 cyber positions reaching across the entire command to bring specific capabilities and enable multiple mission areas. The total cyber force encompasses 585 civilians in 5 different personnel systems, as well as 68 military members, and will eventually include many contractors, at least 350 contractors. Together, they span all cyber workforce elements across the command. For example, information technology, designing and building, configuring and maintaining IT networks, data and AI, driving and supporting data and analytic and AI-enabled capabilities for decision-making, cybersecurity, cyber effects, software engineering. It goes across the board. So we are managing the cyber workforce as a workforce. But as we talked about this morning, it's more than just counting numbers. We've got to assure the readiness. And if you look across the right-hand side of the page, you'll see that of the folks that are to be qualified by 2026, we have a 100% qualification rate at U.S. Strategic Command based upon the qualification standards in place today. And we're going to continue to make sure that our folks are qualified in the future. We can go to the next chart, please. Oh, so in the interest of time, and because I'd really like to get to some of your questions, as we continue to forge the cyber workforce for the future, what are some of my final thoughts here? At US Stratcom, we've made progress in building a cyber workforce, and some of our key successes include cyber accepted service, which we talked about, AI and ML team development. We do have an AI and ML team that was begun in the J6 and is now a direct report to the commander, looking at artificial intelligence, machine learning to improve the capacity for the warfighter. And then academic partnerships. We do have several academic partnerships with local universities and with the talent pipeline, organizations such as Johns Hopkins, but we always need more. So we're continuing to look for partnerships in that area. Let's go to the next chart. So what are our focus areas? What does it mean to be a cyber warrior at US Stratcom? What do we need from you? Well, let's start with what's at stake. You saw the video. Every word of our mission and vision statement has a cyber dimension. Deterrence depends on credibility and survivability of our command and control systems. Strategic options depend upon the integrity and availability of our data, and asymmetric warfighting advantage depends on our ability to outpace opponents in the information environment. And all of it, every bit of it, depends upon the cyber workforce and having a trained, qualified, and ready cyber workforce. So let me be clear, at Stratcom, there is no such thing as a routine cyber mission. We're on duty 24/7, 365. And you saw some of the locations that our warfighters are pulling duty at, pulling watch at. We didn't take a break during COVID. We continue to operate 24/7, 365 through COVID. We still had submarines under the sea. We still had ICBMs on duty for U.S. Strategic Command. So all of that depends upon cyber, and we're going to have to continue to do that moving forward. Additionally, when our cyber warriors are protecting our command control infrastructure, they are ensuring the commander has the ability to provide the best military advice to inform the president's decisions during a crisis. When they are countering adversary cyber operations, they are preserving the defense decision space for our commander, who is charged with protecting the nation. These are no-fail missions, and there's also no room for error. So I want to emphasize a couple things as I close. First of all, our focus 24/7, 365 in our J6 and CIO shop is we are a warfighting organization all day, every day, 24/7, 365. The stakes are high. We know it. We're ready to support. We're not and by the way, the cyber folks, we are fully integrated into the operational mission at US Stratcom, and I would guess several other combatant commands as well. And finally, our cyber operators, they provide this asymmetric advantage. Their skills and judgment are critical to mission success and must be treated as such. To the cyber professionals in the room, your work matters. Every network you defend, every threat you neutralize, every system you protect contributes to the security of our nation. You are the quiet professionals who make the mission possible. The forge is hot, the work is hard, but the outcome, a qualified, capable, and mission-ready cyber force, is worth every effort. So let's get after it. Let's get to work as a team. I can't wait to work with many of you moving forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. That was an impressive brief. And thank you for making us familiar with the importance of what Strategic Command does for us to keep us safe every day, 24/7, no fail, no fail. And with that, we have time for questions. I see a gentleman here at center stage. So please state your name, state your organization, and your question, please.
Thank you, ma'am. It was nice to meet you earlier. Darren Freeze, U.S. European Command, J6. I'm the Chief of Staff there. In one of your slides, you had a layout of your cyber workforce, and you had a comment noted on some of the positions that you have incentivized. It was a relatively small number, so I'm interested in any lessons learned that you had in your conversion to CES, if that incentivized plan met your targets, and is there anything else you can share in terms of recommendations that USUCOM can take into consideration as we are now considering moving into cyber accepted service?
Absolutely. Love to talk about cyber accepted service. One of my favorite topics. Mr. Gorek knows that. So incentivization, it's important to remember that several positions, and they're coded, that have targeted local market supplement, or TLMS. Those are the first positions that we incentivize, the TLMS. So when we moved, by the way, let me just take a step back. We are not new to incentivizing talent at U.S. Strategic Command. Cyber accepted service is just another tool in our toolkit. We have been incentivizing talent at U.S. Strategic Command since I arrived there as the J6 in the late 2018, 2019 timeframe, and we've used the 3 Rs pretty effectively. So I would say, even if you are not on cyber accepted service, organizations out here, you have capability to use the 3 Rs. Embrace them, love them, figure them out. If you need some help, please let us know, because we've been able to incentivize some pretty wicked smart talent with just using the 3 Rs. Secondly, we are located in Omaha, Nebraska. Not necessarily a hotbed of cyber talent. Shocking. But I will tell you, we have over 90% fill rate in our cyber positions. And we have one of the highest fill rates for a J6 in the Joint Force. Why is that? Well, first of all, we use the 3 Rs. Secondly, we made a promise to the workforce for cyber accepted service, and we kept it. And the workforce is very excited about being in cyber accepted service, not only for the TLMS, but also for just the other opportunities it provides, the additional training that provides, the skill set. So the workforce is pretty jazzed about being in cyber accepted service. Because remember, we went to cyber accepted service, but the incumbents had to volunteer to go into it. Okay, and so I think we had maybe a handful of incumbents who opted not to go into CES, and those folks were close to retirement, and they didn't want to transition from one system to another so close to retirement. The third thing I will tell you is know where you are. So what do I mean by that? We are in the Midwest. What we have found is we use a lot of networking, a lot of people who know people, who have family, who knows family, and many people who've come back to our organization or work for us at Stratcom have family in the Midwest. And some of them want to come back to be closer to family. Some of them have graduated from college, went away. Now they want to come back and raise their kiddos there for a variety of reasons. So know your workforce, know your friends of the workforce who are also some of your best networking opportunities. I will tell you right now, one of my chief network engineer came back to be near family. He was in Colorado Springs, and he decided it was the right time to be back near family. Now, I had to incentivize him with a pretty hefty 3R package, but we were able to do that and bring him back. So that's a little bit of a background on kind of how, I think it's a bigger question than just CES. It's really the how do you entice talent to be where you want them to be.
Thank you.
Sure.
On the left here, please.
Hi, ma'am. This is Rob Edison from SOCOM. I guess my question is kind of in line with what he had, and again, it kind of entails cyber accepted service. SOCOM, we've kind of decided now to go ahead and pursue cyber accepted service as a conversion. I think we've hit all the high points and everything as far as all the positives that go along with converting. I was interested to see if you had any challenges after with the conversion, and if there's any cautionary tales that we can have as we go into formalizing our package and moving that forward.
Sure. So I will tell you, I think I mentioned that we were implementing cyber accepted service and ACT demo at the same time. And because we first transitioned the people into cyber accepted service that had the TLMS, the commander's position, previous commander, but at the time it was, you will either be in cyber accepted service or you will be in act demo. So we had an opportunity to have a mixed constellation within the J6 of some in act demo and some in cyber accepted service, because we really wanted to be able to choose the right system to incentivize properly. And what we found as we went through the first year and a half of CES was that we could take care of the people and incentivize them and achieve our objectives in a homogeneous system just by using CES. So I would give you that as a data point. Not every place is the same. So we are in the process right now of transitioning people that we transitioned a year and a half ago to act demo back to CES. And they had to volunteer, and they're all volunteering. So maybe that'll give you some insight, right? So cyber accepted services is giving us the opportunity to attract, retain, and train our workforce, and they appear to like it. You're welcome.
Please.
Good afternoon. My name is Omar. I'm from the 145th Air Wing out of Charlotte, North Carolina. A key problem that I see is that we expect the best talent to move to us rather than bring the mission to them. In the case of Charlotte, North Carolina, a thriving city that is a top-tier tech and fintech hub, the talent is there, but many are unwilling to move to Fort Bragg when opportunities are available closer to home. My question to you is, has the department considered a hub and spoke model that utilizes existing sites with secure infrastructure, such as the 145th Air Wing, to create satellite cyber cells in major talent centers where the DOW opportunities are few and far?
Well, thanks for that question. That's a really, really excellent question, and I can kind of appreciate where you're coming from. So I will tell you I can speak from not from a Department of War perspective, but I'll speak from a U.S. Strategic Command perspective. We have implemented in several cases within our command a hub and spoke construct like you mentioned. So we do have an organization called the Nuclear Command Control Communications Enterprise Center, the NC3 Enterprise Center. The center nexus is in Omaha. We do have geographically separate organizations out in the National Capital Region, Barksdale, Hill Air Force Base, and a couple of others. So we do use that capability, that construct, several different in several different examples when we want to make sure we continue to leverage that talent. We have found, though, that it's more effective and efficient based upon what we do at Stratcom and the classification at which we have to operate to have everybody in a central location, if it's at all possible. But yes, we've implemented that kind of a construct when we need to and when the mission will support it. And by the way, it's not as simple as just giving somebody a cell phone, right? Because if you're somebody who's working with the Stratcom missions, you've got to be able to have a method of classified comms. And we've been able to work very closely with the partners from DISA. Anybody here from DISA? There we go. Partners from DISA been able to help us with some classified comms capabilities and mobility kits. So a lot of it's not just a people thing. It's not just a talent thing. It's a mission as well as a capability thing. So it's a full equation. I would offer that to you for consideration.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
In the middle, please.
Hello, ma'am. Heather from Transcom Global Bulk Fuel. So you've probably heard about us. I was fascinated with what you were talking about with the logistics being so key to the technology equation that we have to come up with. Since we're talking about talent and how to recruit and find and develop that, what would you say are the highest prized skills that you see for that union between cyber and logistics?
Okay, well, that's a good question. And having spent just a couple of years at U.S. Transportation Command, my heart is firmly embroiled in the logistics part of the equation. But we still, as you can tell from the video, we still have a hefty reliance on logistics, getting the right things to the right people at the right time, especially in operations like Midnight Hammer and Epic Fury. As I look at the key skills that are out there, I think a couple of things. You heard it here this morning. The ability to think strategically is a key skill. The ability to take a look at solution alternatives. The ability to make sure, if we talk about data all the time, our solutions have got to be data driven, because we as a joint force are going to fight together, and so we've got to be able to have the same data. And that data may or may not be on the same dashboard, may be under the different pane of glass for all the combatant commands, but we've got to continue to work through the data. So what skill sets are the most important? I'd hate to rank them. because you saw the skill sets that we talked about. You know, we've got data and AI folks. We don't have, you know, we talk about, and a lot of times, you know, a lot of the conversation here has gone around hunting on networks. US Stratcom doesn't necessarily hunt networks. We monitor our networks, but we're not hunting per se, like the teams that you're talking about here. But we have to have an ability. We do have a tier 2 CSSP, cybersecurity service provider. And our friends at DCDC, Defense Cyber Defense Command, have analyzed our capabilities and given us a 100% qualified rating, and that doesn't come very frequently. So cyber defense, got to be able to protect our networks, got to be able to think strategically, think innovatively, and look at the technology that's coming down the pipe. Things like DISA's Command Net, Thunderdome, Zero Trust, and figure out how we can ingest those technologies or implement those technologies for our mission set. Not why we can't. It would be simpler to just say, you know, we're Stratcom and we're special and we're going to have our own, whatever it is, our own networks or what have you, but we've got to fight with the rest of the world. So we've got to have people who can think strategically, look at solution alternatives that are not just good for us, and they have to be there on a very bad day, right? But they have to also be there for the joint warfighter.
Thank you,
Does
ma'am.
does that help?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I will tell you, you talked about logistics. We do have a single pane of glass dashboard that our commander is now looking at. It's been about 9 months, almost a year in the making. It is on Maven Smart Systems, and one of the key packages on that dashboard is the package that our J4 developed, which is the log cop. So they're right there in the fight with the rest of us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, ma'am. I'm Teresa Beaver. I'm with the Space Rapid Capabilities Office in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Sure.
And I wanted to ask a couple questions about the cyber accepted service. I looked into it a couple years ago for my previous organization, and the challenge that we ran into was at the time there was a requirement that 80% of the organization's mission be in direct support of Cyber Command, and we couldn't justify that for our organization, so we didn't qualify at that point. So my first question is, did your organization have any challenges with that 80% requirement? And then my second question is the incentive pay for that centrally managed, or does that come out of your organization's budget?
You want to talk?
Space Rapid Capabilities Office,
Albuquerque. right?
Albuquerque, yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Space Force. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
But you know, if you think about it, he'll fix it. I have great confidence in my battle buddy Mark Gorak. But I will tell you, if you look at supporting U.S. Cyber Command, how do you define supporting U.S. Cyber Command? We define supporting U.S. Cyber Command and the nation as providing secure networks and being able to provide defensive cyber operations 24/7, 365 at our headquarters and our geographically separate sites. So quite frankly, we didn't have a problem defining that and showing compliance. And depending upon how you articulate your mission set, you may be able to accomplish the same objective. As far as the funding goes, I leave that to my J8. I do believe that there's a hefty role for our J8 at Stratcom in order to make that happen. But the command is wedded to that. The commander is wedded to getting us the right talent, whether it's for the cyber workforce or all of the other missions that Stratcom has to do. And I will tell you, our talent challenge for a U.S. Strategic Command in the middle of the country, it's a mostly government civilian headquarters. It's not just limited to cyber, although ours is the most complex mission set, I will tell you. So it can be done.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Somebody held up 10. So I don't know if that's like, we have time for 10 more minutes.
Got 10 more questions.
Oh, 10 more questions. I'm
No,
good.
I'm kidding. I'm so kidding.
I only have 9, ma'am.
Okay.
Hi, ma'am. My name is Jason Franklin. I'm with the DHA as well as the Navy Reservists under U.S. Stratcom Joint Electromagnetic Warfare Center out of San Antonio, but we're coming to the JIAC next month. So I'll probably see you up in Nebraska at some
Oh,
point.
good. I can't wait to come visit you guys again, too.
I'm bringing my coat, ma'am, when I come
All
see
right.
you. So ma'am, question for you. I know you talked a bit about CES, but I'm curious if you see any risks to the workforce long-term, whether it's AI job displacement or something else.
To the cyber workforce?
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
that what you mean? So here's how I look at the cyber workforce, and because I've been around this business for a minute or two, I think that whether you call it communications, computers, cyber, tech, it doesn't matter. Data, AI, it's always changing. So I don't really see a threat from AI. I think AI and those types of tools will help us do things more effectively and efficiently, but that's going to free us, the workforce, up to do other things. And I think there will always be room for innovation assisted by AI, but not replaced by AI. So we as a cyber workforce, I believe, need to continue to keep our skills sharp, need to continue to figure out how to do those things that we're not comfortable with. You know, there was some conversation earlier today about getting some of the younger folks involved in some of the things that we do and welcoming the younger generation. And I'm all over that. But gosh darn it, the rest of us are still curious and we're still hungry and we still love to do those types of things. So I say use the talent that you've got, however you can use them based upon their level of curiosity and their commitment. And I think the challenge, the opportunities that AI will provide will eventually be looked at as just another tool in our toolbox.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Nelson, take us home with the last question,
Thanks.
please.
Thank you. Scott Nelson, I'm the acting DOW Cyber Academic Engagement Office Director. My question is, you mentioned quantum defense and post-quantum encryption. What is US Stratcom doing with understanding that adversaries have a pretty significant target with Stratcom and the missions you have? How are you integrating quantum defense and post-quantum encryption into the workforce? Is it today? What's the time horizon for that integration?
So let me talk a little bit about quantum encryption. First of all, quantum encryption, the organization that is responsible for developing and fielding those solutions is the National Security Agency. We work very closely with our National Security Agency partners as they are developing those future capabilities. And in fact, we are a test bed for some of those capabilities for the National Security Agency. So a lot of what we will do is if organizations like the National Security Agency and others develop solution alternatives that they would like a willing partner to pilot, that would be us at U.S. Strategic Command. So we try to be in the ground when people are developing technologies and capabilities, give it to a combatant command such as U.S. Stratcom, which might be a bit of a demanding customer, bring it to Stratcom, let us try to kick the tires under it and see if we can work on that together. But quantum cryptography is going to be a difficult challenge. There are those in the country that I know that are already thinking about it. We're right there lockstep with them moving forward.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, Ms. Dora Maurice, for being here with us, for encouraging us to think strategic, and for everyone here in the audience, thank you for all the great questions.
Audience participation, 2 gold stars. Good job.